Welcome to OXYDIAN, a podcast, club, and community diving into electronic music and the people shaping club culture.
That's for me something very important, that is the people who are affected, they are really impacting the change.
Change.
They are moving the whole thing into the right direction. That's the people who know the struggle.
Have you ever walked away from a deal? You didn't feel like this goes with your values, that something was not feeling right to you?
When they approach me like that,
Yeah.
then I'm like, do you know what I play? Sometimes they would be like, these people play and we want you to play because we need a woman. And I look at this artist and my sound doesn't even fit.
What are some of the biggest challenges to become a successful artist nowadays?
It can be a challenge to stick to what you value and what you love, even though you don't get the recognition for it or the appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Authenticity is the most important thing. You have to, because people see through you. If you pretend to be something you're not, just to get the followers or whatever, people see through. I think it's important to set rules to guarantee inclusivity of all genders, and that's how we step by step can
grow it.
Yeah, can grow it.
So, welcome to episode 3 of this new podcast. Today we have Jelena with us. Thank you very much for coming and for bringing your thoughts and your opinions to this conversation. As said, this is a conversation for everybody to talk and discuss what we talked, and so that we can all kind of create a community and improve nightlife a little bit. So, let's start with a presentation about you and how you started into electronic music, what made you fall in love, and if there is any key moments or artists that changed the game for you.
So thank you for having me, first of all. I'm very happy to be part of this new format.
Thank you.
Feel very honored as well. So I fell in love with clubbing before I fell in love with electronic music in particular. So a little bit about my background. I grew up in a very rural place. It's a very small village in Solothurn.
Okay.
So we had like 2,000 people living there, very small. And I'm a child from immigrant parents. So I always felt like not fitting in. I felt strange. I was very different as a kid from everybody else. Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, I realized later in life that I was also queer.
Nice.
So
welcome to the club.
Yes. So what really changed me as a human was when I went to London for the first time. I was 18. I did this trip on my own, and I went to Soho, and I went to a gay club for the first time. And
you remember which one?
GAY. Actually, yeah. I think it doesn't exist anymore. Does it?
It does.
Oh, so
it's the same place, same everything.
Okay, you remember.
I think that place will never close.
I hope, because I'm sure many kids like me,
Mm-hmm.
find their path. So that was my first touch with nightlife and party, and I really felt like, okay, it's actually really fierce to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing people embracing it and all the confidence and stuff really inspired me to seek it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care much about the music back then. It was just,
Yeah, I know JY. Maybe not the most curated music, but yeah.
Yeah, just the idea of
for the place it
partying.
fits,
So I came back to Switzerland. I tried to find something similar, which was not so easy, but I started to go out. I started to go to different places, and then didn't really I started to shape my musical taste, and I found that I can I like to go out with the electronic music more than pop music and this other kind of music. But I couldn't find a good combination of queer parties and good electronic music. Until today, it's really hard in Switzerland to find something like that.
Agree.
So I stuck to go out where the music is good instead of queer places. And sometimes you really you find places where they both meet and you have a great experience. But also in general, I didn't feel like it's I felt part of a community. I felt part of a movement kind of, which was really nice. I enjoyed it. But I was always striving for, something that really catches me, that makes me kind of feel obsessed. And things changed when I went to Time Warp and I saw Nina Kravitz for the first time. I remember that this set left a huge impact because right before her sets, I was not a trained raver yet. So 7 a.m, I was already very tired, about to go home. Like my legs, my back was a pain. And my friend was the same, but I convinced him to, okay, let's go see her at least for 50 minutes to just check out her set. And he was like, okay, we went. And she started, and I was so blown away. I stayed for a whole set, the 2 hours. And I was really, for the first time, I was just closing my eyes and I was just entering a completely new world, which was very interesting for me. I never experienced anything like that before. And also, the aftermath of that, it gave me so much energy. I stayed until 2 p.m., until the festival closed, and I was completely sober.
You were gonna go.
I was about to go home. So it just energized me so much on on a physical level, on a mental level. And that changed a lot because I started to follow her label. I started to follow her shows around Europe. And that was a very important key moment because I started to travel on my own more and really explore the sounds and the artists, which just made me a little bit obsessed with the whole label and the music, but in a very good way. Because it just inspired me a lot. And sometimes not only danceable music, but also different kinds of ambient or breakbeat stuff or just weird music at some point, but pleasingly weird.
Yeah. So we could say that Nina Kravitz was the one that motivated you to get into the industry somehow?
Not particularly inspired me to get into it, just to explore it on a deeper level.
Yeah.
What really inspired me to start DJing and to make music was another artist, actually.
Cool.
It was Devious One.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. I went to see him. I went to Elysia for the first time. It's a club in Basel, and he was playing all night long. So, and I was there very early, and I stayed until the end, and that was really, really nice to hear his music and his mixing on their sound system.
Elysia has a really good sound system.
Yeah, that was just like, okay, I kind of want to do this as well, because it's just interesting how I was fascinated by how it moved me, and I would imagine myself moving other people like that as well. Because it's just you can do it no matter who you are, no matter your past, no matter your skill set. it just requires time and effort and
Yeah, at the end,
drive.
it's a form of expression, you know. So you use
Exactly.
music as a way of expressing yourself and how you feel and how you communicate with the audience, I guess. So, those people kind of encourage you into doing all of this, and now years later, you played with both of them.
I did, yeah.
How does that feel to play with your idols somehow, or like the people that motivated you?
It feels great.
I mean, that's
It's
sure.
pretty great. I had the honor to open for DVS1 last year at Christmas
Mm-hmm.
in Elysia.
Oh,
And that was a very big moment for me because that's where, you know,
everything's.
everything started kind of.
Oh yeah.
And then to open for him was a big pleasure. I played with him before, and it was always very, very nice.
Mhm.
But this one at Elysia was really like a full, circle moment.
Yeah.
And then last week, last week,
Mm-hmm.
we played with Nina. It was also really nice.
Were you?
So it was finally, yeah, yeah. I was really nervous because I always, when I play intros for this kind of, legends, I think about what I want to do a lot because I try to not only set a decent vibe, but also I want them to come to the club and feel like, okay, I can do my thing because she set the vibe where I can continue doing my stuff.
Yeah, you warm up the place properly, so they
Yeah.
can come and do their thing, and without having to worry to create the vibe.
Yeah, or to start something new.
Exactly. Okay, and how will you describe your sound with 3 words?
I would describe my sound as hypnotic,
Mm-hmm.
sexy.
Okay.
I like it groovy.
Uh-huh.
And just very personal.
Mm-hmm. I think in general, DJing is very personal.
Yeah.
You know, like depending on how you feel, it sets how you're gonna play,
That's true.
right?
That's very true.
So hypnotic, sexy, and personal, right?
I would say so.
Okay, that's pretty good. I like it. And yeah, so you started playing in Switzerland, but you also started playing internationally.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a bit more about that. Where did you play? Which venues, countries, and how was like your first international gig somehow? And how did you feel?
Okay, so my first international gig, that was a mess. A little bit of a mess because it was the second pandemic wave, and I was invited in Berlin in this small club. And on the day of the event, they changed the rules in Berlin. So I had to find a place where I can get a COVID test. And I arrived around 8 in the evening. So it was very stressful to find a place. I found this kind of supermarket where you could get tests, but only the locals.
Oh.
So I had to pretend to be a Berlin local to do this. I had to lie like, yeah, I haven't got the Anmeldung yet because I just moved here last week, so I could get a test. And then I also remember I got my period. I was feeling very stressed out, in pain and stuff, but I managed to do it, and it was a proud moment to step out of
Your comfort zone.
Switzerland and do this.
Mm-hmm. What's one thing you wish people understood about being behind the decks?
Well, just the amount of research that has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not everybody's doing it.
No.
But I know people who think like that and who do it, and I have mad respect for them, and I try to really match the level of the professionalism
Mm-hmm.
through research, because for me it's very important to be able to adapt yourself to the night, to the artists that follow you or are behind you. I mean, play before you.
Yeah.
So that's a skill that is very underrated, I think. Yeah, the amount of researching, because for me it's important to also not only play good and offer the people a good night, but also I want to leave an impact, to be booked again, to be remembered, so I can grow, and it requires research to do that.
A
And
lot of work.
yeah,
Yeah.
because my goal is always to play the music that people don't know yet they would like. So
Kioski in the last episode mentioned that this perception of like people is kind of losing curiosity for new things, and like they go out expecting to know what's gonna happen. How do you feel about like bringing new songs, new stuff, and like try to surprise the crowd every time? Do you get usually like good reactions, or is it a risky move?
I think it's an important move, but yeah, it's also risky. I mean, I had moments where it was amazing. I had moments where it was not amazing at all.
Yeah.
So, but I would say it's really worth taking a risk, because if it works out,
And I think
it's the best thing that can happen.
exactly, and I think this also motivates people to not have expectations set all the time. You know what I mean? They have to be more open to discover new things and new sounds and new music as well. You know.
Yeah. For me, this surprise effect is something very crucial, because that's one reason why I love Nina so much. She's really brave with her selections, and her taking the risk and introducing music, like very specific music, as a surprise, is what really keeps me on the dance floor and what makes me go to her shows over and over and over again, because
Exactly.
I love to be like, whoa, I did not expect that, but I fucking love it,
That's the whole thing. I think like if you know like the set that's gonna happen, if you know all of the songs, okay, it's nice to hear a song that you love.
Yeah.
In the dance floor, but like that thing of the surprise fact of like what's happening now, and like where is this artist taking me into this journey and stuff, is like I think that's the most exciting thing. No?
That's very, very exciting.
Is there a moment from your career that totally changed the way you see the scene?
Yeah, there was like I would mention one that is not a very nice one, but is very important to talk about it. So when I started to go out, I felt this oneness with everyone, and I felt like accepted. I felt the unity, and this was something I was really cherishing and appreciating.
Yeah.
Until I experienced homophobia in that one certain club 3 times in a row. It destroyed my fantasy a little bit, because I was in this, we're all one, we're so amazing. And then I realized that, okay, you have to be careful, because there's pricks, in nightlife as well. And yeah, that crushed my fantasy a little bit. And I stopped going to this club, because yeah, I saw also how it can change, like, or the bookings of this club changed in this period of time where I experienced that. Yeah, I realized not only that you have to be careful, but also I saw how much impact the curation of the lineup has on
Absolutely.
the crowd, and how it can change the vibe with that.
100%. That's why I kind of motivate people to research a bit of where they're going and what's going on behind everything, How is your relationship with failure, and how do you deal with it? So this is an industry that can be very frustrating somehow. So what's your approach to this?
So I have different relationship to failure when it comes to mixing and when it comes to producing.
Yeah.
So for example, failing in my productions, which means like making mistakes or stuff, I really welcome them, because it is really part of your originality as an artist. because mistakes in when you produce happen mostly when you don't think, you just do.
Yeah.
And this is sometimes the best outcome that could happen. Failing in mixing is a bit different because people notice immediately, and sometimes it can suck a little bit when you make a mistake. But even that, it's really just part of it. It's no one is born with perfect mixing skills, and
Exactly. I kind of appreciate some mistakes sometimes.
yeah, some mistakes turn out to be really nice, especially when no one notices.
And also, like, it gives you like this human feeling, like
Exactly. Yeah.
it's not perfect. I'm not using sync or anything like this, or it's not a preset. So if it's a mistake, but it's quickly arranged and everything, is like, okay, this person knows what he's doing, like even though it made a mistake, it's normal, we all make mistakes. So I kind of appreciate that sometimes, it gives like this human vibe kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I remember Ricardo Villalobos once saying in an interview that sometimes he goes out of sync intentionally just to bring it back. And this has a very interesting impact on the people
So
because
people get like, what's going on? This.
yeah, it brings just the attention back
Yeah.
to, because sometimes you're on a dance floor, you're somewhere with your thoughts, maybe you go
Yeah.
to a place, and it just brings you back in the present moment.
That's pretty smart though.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, Ricardo is another legend, so yeah. And so we go from failure to proudness. What was your first memory of feeling proud of yourself, even personal or musically?
Personal, I mean, that goes very far back in my childhood.
Oh,
I don't know if you want to go.
Yeah.
You want to?
We go deep.
Okay, so I remember one moment when I was a kid. I don't remember how old I was, but I really wanted to have a snowboard.
Okay.
And couldn't have one because I had ski, and my parents were like, you have ski, you should be happy with what you have.
Yeah.
So what I did is I built a snowboard from cardboard.
No way.
Yeah, like I was cutting it, I was gluing it, and I had like a proper snowboard from a cardboard that I found
That's so cool.
in a cellar, and it worked. Like I could use it for like maybe 2 times up and down, and then it was broke. But my parents were so impressed, and I was really proud of that as well, because I made this thing.
You found a way to do it.
Yeah, I found my own way to do it. And actually, they bought me a snowboard after that. So I was really happy.
So like you had to show them how much you really wanted it.
Yeah, I was like, guys, if you don't want to buy me one, I'm going to make one. If it's going to break, I'm going to make another one. And
Wow, that's
said, like,
resilience. And then in terms of like musically, like career-wise and so on.
So the very first proud moment was when I finally managed to mix 2 vinyls together. That was a very proud moment because it was really hard to learn it. And I was really a little bit of a pain in the ass to my parents and my sister, because I started to practice in my bedroom when I used to live with my parents still. And I just, it was really struggling to learn how to beat match with vinyl.
Did you have vinyls for like the first thing you had?
Yeah, I wanted to learn it like the proper way.
Yeah.
And at some point my parents were like, you have to stop. We don't want to hear this anymore, because I can imagine the noise and the failed beat match.
Yeah.
It just sounds like chaos. So at some point I was like, okay, I need to find a solution to that, because I need to keep practicing. I can't do it at home. I was living in this very small village, and I found a place in the basement of this garage somewhere. Very underground. I rented this place. This place was disgusting. It was moldy.
Shit.
There was no isolation. It was cold. I had to, like in winter, I brought my equipment. When I left, I had to take my equipment with me again because it was too cold.
Humid.
It was humid and cold. But I was really happy that I had a place where I can just really practice. And I practiced until I managed to just play.
Learn properly.
Yeah. And I was really proud, especially when I could move to more, just more complex tracks, and I could mix them as well.
Yeah.
It just gave me the greatest satisfaction to just be able to properly beat match with vinyl.
So you learned all by yourself.
Yeah, I learned all by myself.
Nice. That's crazy.
I try to find tutorials and stuff, but it's just like you hear one record with one ear, you hear the other record with the other ear, and you beat match. So there's no theory. That's the theory.
It's more about practice and
It's just
training your ear.
Yeah, it's all about practice and training your ear.
Yeah. Oh, right.
And patience and consistency.
And not letting yourself get frustrated.
Oh, I was frustrated. I was so frustrated. I was really frustrated.
It's a very frustrating job.
Just empathy. But the frustration all paid off because the satisfaction was really worth all the struggle.
What's the most insane moment you had behind the decks?
Most insane in a good way or in a bad way?
You choose.
I choose
Maybe one of each.
one of each. So, one of the most insane moments that was not so good was that one time where I came to the party. The party was not very well promoted, so I didn't know what's gonna happen. So I arrived, and the warm-up DJ was playing for his 3 friends on the dance floor, and then I took over, and his 3 friends left with him, and I was there. No one.
Floor.
Empty floor. There was no one. Like literally no one.
Shit.
And
I mean, I think that has to happen to all.
Yeah, it
DJs
happens.
once at least.
I mean, yeah, it happens.
Have you ever had a "what the fuck am I doing here" moment?
Yeah, that was probably that.
That one.
That was probably because I then played, and it was just I was like, what am I doing? There's no one on the dance floor. Not even the people from the bar were in the same room. So because the bar was in another room. So I was just there, like, what the hell? Like, should I continue? Should I not? Should I stop? Should I wait?
Were you the last act?
No, there was one guy after me too. But in the middle of my set, the promoter came up to me and he said, "There's no point. Let's just stop the night, go home." Yeah. I'm sorry for the DJ after me because he came to the event, and I told him like, "Okay, we're not gonna play anymore." And the most insane, in a good way.
Yeah.
Let me think. I mean, I had a lot of them because, and most of them happened in Elysia because in Elysia, back in the years, like when I started to go out there, and I was not a DJ or anything. I was just a raver. I had so many good moments in there, and I used to go every weekend. I didn't even check out the lineup. I was just like, I go there, my friends are gonna be there. I know, I don't care who's playing because the curation of the lineup was always so on point. And I learned so much in this place through so many different artists, so many different genres. And then to play there was really insane for me. It was really, really nice. And then to go off, like, play tracks that would move the people and see their reaction. And I was once one of them, and now I am making them feel like that.
Exactly.
Those moments, like every time I witness it, and every time I manage to really connect with the crowd, yeah, that were the best moments. And I'm lucky that it happened a lot of times.
So let's switch now to like a bit of more internationally stuff. So you played at venues like Tresor, RSO, Oxy, Hor recently as well. And also like for events like labels like BCCO. How has these venues and labels influenced your artistic career?
I feel very lucky and I feel appreciated to get opportunities to play for these big things, big clubs, and very legendary clubs as well. So for me, I mean, on a personal level, it just confirms that I'm doing a good job, which is a nice feeling.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, like a lot of other people and a lot of artists, I doubt myself a lot, and then to get invited by clubs like that really just helps me personally to be proud of myself and to reassure myself that I don't have to doubt myself so much, you know. So this makes me really happy, and also it makes me happy to um it makes me happy also that, you know, my parents kind of finally see that this noise from back in the day is going somewhere.
They validating what you do now.
Yeah, they see like, okay, now we get why you were so obsessed and why you were so loud and you just couldn't stop trying. So yeah, it just makes me happy that I'm able to grow and to see my growth. But it's also important to keep believing in yourself even though they don't book you. Like,
Yeah. That's
I
very
mean,
important indeed. Yeah.
it's really important to find a way to reassure yourself that you're good enough and not relate too much on that.
Yeah.
It's just nice when it happens, but I never like, I mean, of course it's my dream. I have dreams of venues that I want to play, but I was never obsessed that I have to play there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not gonna continue or something. I always thought that just I want to do my best. I'm gonna try to impress the people, but I'm gonna be fine even though, you know, it doesn't work out.
Yeah. You don't rely on that need.
I don't, yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
But it's a very nice thing if it happens anyways.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you feel about the Swiss scene compared to maybe other places around Europe? Do you see any major difference between them, like when you play here or when you play there? Like, I don't know, crowd reactions or, yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a difference between the clubs with phones and club without phones. That's the difference. But the scenes in the different countries around Europe, I find that are very similar, kind of, because everybody is gathering for the same reason, because we share the same love, you know, for the music.
Yeah.
And we share same core values. It's just that people coming from different lives. But for me, it's really fascinating that because of that, people are living completely different lives here, for example, than in Spain.
Yeah.
But still come together and share this, you know, this common passion, common love, and they can celebrate it.
I think
That's something very interesting.
I think that's the power of music, you know, to
Yep.
unite everyone with like different backgrounds and like make everyone the same in that moment.
Yeah, totally. So I feel like the scenes, it's just the people that are different, but the scenes somehow they're very similar. Of course, like small things are different, like policies or ideas about awareness concepts. Some have it, some don't. Just the use of phones or photographs or stuff like that. But
so you think parties or the dance floor is better when there is a no phone policy?
I mean, yeah, I prefer parties with no phones, or at least no photo policy, no video policy, because it just brings the people in the moment, and instead of capturing the moment that they feel most excited about, they really just live it. And it's a different experience because you can rewatch the scene on your phone again, but it's never gonna be the same level of excitement as if you were really in the moment. It also allows you as a listener to stay on the journey of the sound, and it doesn't interrupt. So
It gives you more like this presence moment kind of thing.
and it keeps you in there for extended period of time. And in this extended period of time, you get to really experience the full thing, and that's what excites me personally. As an artist, also sometimes, I like to have footage and stuff of me playing.
For sure.
So nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it can also be a bit distracting for me when I play to see someone film me. I get stressed.
Pressure,
I feel the pressure, and I'm like, okay, this transition has to be perfect now, because it's just
it's on camera.
something happens internally that
Fully agree.
Yeah.
So let's jump now a bit into music style and production.
Okay.
So tell us a bit of how is the creative process of your track or behind your tracks, for example, like Hernando for BCCO. How do you start?
So every single track, no, maybe not every single track, but most of my tracks, they start just from playing. So I like to just turn on my machines and just turn the knobs and play and
Experiment.
Exactly. And I really try in this process of experimenting, I try to somehow just match what I feel with what I hear. So when what I hear from the machine, when it resonates with my feeling, that's when I know, okay, I have to record this now. And then usually I just chop. Then I chop sequences from my recordings, and I put them together.
Okay. Do you ever start a song with like a venue or a place in mind? Like, okay, I'm gonna make a song that is gonna sound so well in this place, or it could sound really well, or this kind of genre could sound very well in this venue or that one.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. My productions either come from a feeling, because I want to somehow translate the feeling into sound, or I hear something interesting, like an idea. I have this song, for example, Another Stoned Ape, and this was born from the idea of an interview from Terence McKenna, where he was talking about his stoned ape theory. So basically what he says is that many years ago, like millions of years ago, apes, like, okay, so first of all, no one can really explain the jump from the brain of an ape to a brain of a human.
Yeah.
And his theory was that those apes, as they were trying to find new sources of food, came across mushrooms, and they started to eat mushrooms. And that this was part of the development of a human brain.
Not that crazy idea.
So things like that inspire me sometimes also to make music, because I think it's interesting Terence McKenna he passed many years ago, but I like to keep his idea alive in a song. I like to sometimes, just get inspired by an idea. I don't know if it's true, it's a theory, it's nothing proven, but I like to think about it. Because, could have happened like that. We don't know.
As I said, it's not that crazy of idea, maybe. So how would you describe your sound to somebody that never listened to techno in a non-musical metaphor somehow?
To describe it like in one way, because I experience so many things in my life. Some are good, some are painful. And depending on what I experience, I put that into music. So
Do you do that always, or do you have to kind of adapt to the venue where you play? For example, I don't know, you're feeling a bit more sad or angry and you want to play something more aggressive, but it's maybe not the night or the venue to do it.
so
How do you manage that balance of doing what you really feel and adapting to the venue or the crowd?
So when mixing music is different as with production. So as I said, with production, it's just I'm free. Whatever I feel, I can put it into. But with mixing, what I feel does affect my selection.
For sure.
But you have to stay professional and not let your emotions influence the outcome too much. Normally, when I feel angry or when I feel sad or depressed or something, when things happen in life, do you feel that way? Usually what I try to do is to just leave that at home, go into a club, try to find a clean state of mind, and then build a vibe, because I don't want to feel sad when I play.
Yeah.
I try to just somehow remove it and adapt to the place and create a completely new vibe, share it with the people and receive it back from them, from their reactions.
That's a pretty cool approach.
Yeah, it's also very therapeutic.
Exactly. It's like changing your own mood in a way.
Yeah, because it's a great tool to just refresh your emotional state. Is a very healthy way as well, I think. It's not always easy because sometimes emotions can be very strong.
Yeah.
But usually I try to do that, and usually I also then feel better after my set, because first of all I managed to forget about my worries for a minute, and also the crowd was feeding me with their reactions, with their dancing, with their expression of happiness and dance. So that's something very, very healing.
Beautiful and very emotional. So it's all about emotions for you, pretty much,
Yeah, I mean, my emotions are the main source of
where it comes from.
where it comes from, especially when it comes to my own music that I write. Emotions are the source.
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about inclusivity. That's something we always talk here. So what's your perspective on queer representation and inclusivity in electronic music?
It's growing. It's growing, and I'm really happy to see how much it's growing. I see more and more queer and also flinter representation in the lineups, and also behind the organization, like the
Organizers,
organizers, promoters, stuff like that. So I am very, very happy to see that. Of course, there's still it's a thing that some people abuse for their own, sake. But there's a lot of real things, and I'm very, very happy to see it.
So what clubs or collectives do you think are doing this right?
I can really, to pinpoint people who are doing extra good, I really need to think.
Because I also want to kind of promote those people that are doing a good job,
So who is recently, or not recently, who is doing a really good job is In Transformation, aka former Kapitel.
Yes.
They now kind of switched to also more or mostly just local artists, and they're like, when it comes to Switzerland, I think they are doing a very good job. And I always have the pleasure to share decks with really amazing artists from all kinds of backgrounds. They manage to curate nights with, even though the music is different, they manage to curate it in a way it just works. And that is very impressive. So big shout out to In Transformation.
Big shout out, because we're gonna do things together, so stay up to date. Actually, I might have a proposition for you later,
Okay.
but I think we might do this off camera.
Okay.
But yeah, keep follow OXYDIAN, follow Jelena, and keep up to date with what's going on, because there are things coming.
And most of those collectives and movements, really, they are coming and organized by people in the community, for the community. Sorry. And that's for me that's for me something very important, that is the people who are affected, they are doing these things and they are really impacting the change. They are moving the whole thing into the right direction, because that's the people who know the struggle, and they have they understand the values the most.
Do you think inclusivity is being used as a marketing tool more than a core value?
I think that some people do use it for, marketing their own space and stuff. Not because of the core values, but because of just attracting more people and stuff. Which is not it's not the nicest approach. It's kind of disrespecting a little.
In a way.
But at the same time, it gives people opportunities to showcase themselves anyways. So for people who are accepting offers for people like that, just to keep in mind that that the core values are not met, but they still get the opportunity to do it.
Absolutely.
And myself accepted opportunities like that as well, because I think that's they might profit from something they don't believe in the same way that I do, but at the same time I get the opportunity to practice, to play, to.
And maybe that opportunity allows you to do something else
Exactly.
better for the community or wherever, Have you ever walked away from a deal because you didn't feel like this goes with your values, or that something was not feeling right to you?
I have, when people sometimes when people are really uneducated and they're like, we have this one slot and we need a woman, do you want to play? When they approach me like that, then I'm like, do you know what I play? And sometimes they would be like, these people play and we want you to play because we need a woman. And I look at this artist and my sound doesn't even fit. So why would I do that? I wouldn't do that.
Does it happen a lot that you get booked, or like people contact you for something that doesn't really relate to you at all? Like as you said, for example, maybe they put you with a lineup of like breakbeat and electro. And
sometimes they I had a few like house mixes that I could do, and people book me, but they know that I would like to do something like this, so we talk, and usually it happens out of communication. But I never, or very rarely, get requests where it doesn't make sense for me to play.
That's good though.
But another no-go and one thing that I walked away from was when people say, we want to book you, but we don't know if we can pay you. The night will show if we can pay you. I mean, if it's friends of mine and if it's for a community that I support and love, and I know they don't have the resources, I'm going to do it. But people out of nowhere asking me this and expecting me to do the work and not knowing if I will get paid. It's not that I will starve if I don't get paid, but it's still, for me, it's a bit disrespectful to
Absolutely.
expect artists to do the work and not get anything back.
While the club or promoter is getting reached.
Yeah, they get them, even though it's not a lot of money they make, but it's still, if you want to work with artists, you have to show respect and also give them something, pay them.
Exactly.
Even though it's not so much, you can explain yourself why maybe the fee is gonna be a little bit lower and stuff, but to be like, yeah, just come play, and at the end of the night we'll see if we can pay you. This is a little bit disrespectful.
Red flag.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit of the challenges of today's scene. We have now reached the premium part of the podcast, where we dive even deeper into DJ advice, nightlife finances, and other exclusive content. Go check out our Patreon channel. So let's do some hot takes now.
Okay.
Agree or disagree? Techno is too serious. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Okay.
Techno is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time.
I mean, it has
Of course.
a political background, of course, and it gives you kind of this serious vibe. But it's all about the fun. At the end. And
Let's say it's serious, but it's not too serious.
Mhm.
It should not be too serious.
Exactly.
Because it's also just about sometimes forgetting about all the serious things and just have fun for a moment, so you can recharge a little bit.
Big name festivals kill creativity. Agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Okay.
I don't think it kills creativity. It's just creativity in another form.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I made this question in terms of like many of the big name festivals request their artists to have a preset recorded.
Okay, yeah, that's something different.
And
but
if
that's
you are only a big name DJ or whatever, then you only do pre-recorded sets most often, and that kind of leaves the creative side on the side.
I mean, yeah, big festivals can be awakenings, and I don't think they request their artists to
Yeah, sure.
record sets.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, it requires a different kind of creativity to play for 15,000 people than for 300.
Yeah.
I think. I don't have experience in playing for 15,000 people, but
Okay.
I can imagine that it just requires a different approach in creativity.
AI will make DJs irrelevant. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Same.
I don't think that AI can get to that human level.
No.
So
That connection with crowd and everything.
yeah, exactly.
I agree with that.
The human touch is something you cannot replace.
Most people at raves aren't even there for the music. Agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Okay.
I would say part of people, yeah, but most of the people, yeah, I think a lot of people still come for the music.
I want to hope so. Now we jump into unpopular opinions. So the first take is Berlin scene. Do you have any unpopular opinions about it?
I don't. I think Berlin is really...
There's something you don't agree or you don't see the same way as most people do? You know,
I mean, Berlin is a great place for techno. Has many others, like Prague, for example. It has a really nice...
Georgia.
Yeah,
would blame Georgia so bad.
Yeah.
Like, you saw what's going on there with like the whole political stuff and so, and I'm like, that's how it's all about, you know? And that really makes me want to go there and even live there, you know, and be around this culture and this crowd, you know.
Yeah, they have a very strong community.
Techno in 2025, unpopular opinions?
Techno, that's people call techno, that
Yeah.
really doesn't have anything to do with techno. And that, people should be more careful of using the word
Mm-hmm.
to describe music.
Yeah, I agree with that. And social media as a DJ, unpopular opinion about this.
I mean, social media is a great tool for artists
Mm-hmm.
to be seen
Yeah.
and to be booked,
Mm-hmm. And to connect with the audience as
to
well.
connect. It's really important for many things, but
Mm-hmm.
you should not rely on it too much.
Yeah. So, for example, an unpopular opinion for me about social media is that because you have followers doesn't mean that you're good.
Yeah. And I made the experience, like I heard from so many people that they book according to how many followers certain artists have,
Mm-hmm.
which is very strange to measure someone's skill as a DJ on popularity. Of course, it can be an indicator of,
Yeah, but those
will the club be full? Is this person known or not?
But those people don't care about the scales. They care about the club being full.
Yeah,
If they have like, I don't know, 50K, they probably think, okay, this is going to be,
should work.
I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah, you should not rely too much on it. It's a nice thing to share your art and whatever your journey,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not something you should measure anyone on.
Yeah, or rely on for bookings
Yeah,
and
exactly.
stuff. Next segment is manifested. So, for example, if you could headline any venue or festival next year, what will it be?
I don't see myself headlining just
Okay.
yet. I mean, I'm just in the very beginning of my journey. But there's a lot of places I would love to play. I would love to go to Georgia at some point. I would love to just travel in general and explore more. Yeah, I would just love to explore different countries, different continents. I've never been to South America.
So next one is, if you could collab with anyone, alive or dead, who will it be?
I would really like to work with Prince
Mm-hmm.
because
Techno truck.
I don't know where it would lead, but I would just love to learn from him about how he is just vocalizing all these ideas about love, and this is something that really fascinates me, just how he's vocalizing that.
And what's one thing you haven't done yet, but you will do?
Usually when I produce, I have a concept for one song
Mm-hmm.
that I then work through and work out. But I definitely would love to have like a concept and then try to make a lot of different tracks relating to that concept. I'm actually working on that.
Okay.
So huh?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah, we'll see. It's just something that is new for me, and experimenting with different techniques and different kinds of music.
That's pretty cool. And I think it fits you, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. So, for example, I started to work with my own vocals, which I haven't done before.
Okay.
I just didn't have. Yeah, I just didn't have
The confidence.
the confidence really to do something like that, to record my own vocals. But I started to do it, and it's really fun. It's really nice.
I love some vocals in techno tracks and this kind of stuff. Love it. Let's do now overrated or underrated. First take is hard groove. Overrated or underrated?
In the middle,
Okay. So not overrated
No.
or underrated?
no, not either or.
Either or. Perfect. TikTok DJs.
Definitely overrated.
Vinyl only sets.
Underrated.
100%.
Because, I mean, mad respect for everyone doing that. It takes so much.
Absolutely. I think it like kind of cuts out a bit of the creativity that you can do maybe with CDJs and stuff, but it's just a completely different way of playing and mixing, you know.
Yeah, but you also have to think that sometimes limiting your source,
Can make it more creative.
exactly, it enhances your creativity to do more with less.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be a good thing. So
Agree. Instagram Reels / drop videos. Overrated or underrated?
overrated.
Same.
You capture one moment of a party, which, yeah, it's nice for promotion, but it also, yeah, some people then expect that the whole night is just that. And as soon as it gets more, you know, more deep, for example, with less drops,
Yeah.
people start to feel bored somehow
Mm-hmm.
because they expect a drop every minute and a half.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
it's
that's.
a bit overrated.
I feel that too, you know, like people is kind of losing this journey stuff and they just want like drop after drop. The word underground, underrated or overrated?
I think it's a bit overrated.
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, not the concept, but the word.
The word, yeah, the word. Everything is underground today.
Yeah. Or what's not.
We're throwing a party in our backyard. It's an underground party.
What are some of the biggest challenges to become a successful artist nowadays?
It can be a challenge to stick to what you value and what you love, even though you don't get the recognition for it or the appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to say that if you really do that, and if you believe in what you do, and you don't care, or you learn not to care about recognition, it will take you to very nice places, and it will pay off.
I agree.
So
maybe sometimes in a slower way, but it does.
yeah, it definitely.
Exactly.
It definitely takes more time, and it requires a lot of patience. But this patience is very worth developing because, yeah, it just takes you to places. Oh, for me, it took me to places where I was not expecting to be because I thought that my way of mixing my selections that are more on a deeper level, on a hypnotic level, not on a very fast pace. It's not speaking to most of the people, especially post-pandemic, where everything just has to be fast, and I'm not that.
Yeah.
But I am very grateful that I just stick to what I love, and I kept believing in it, and I'm at a very good place now with it. So patience and yeah, just really believe and stay true to yourself.
Mm-hmm. So kind of focusing on the authenticity and the organic growth.
Yeah. Authenticity is the most important thing. You have to, because people see through you. If you pretend to be something you're not, just to, to get the followers or whatever.
Yeah.
People see through. Maybe not all of them, but like important people that will help you, have a long career, or just in general longevity in the scene. They will see through you. And so for me, it's really important to be real. And even though, the masses don't like what I do, I know that people I care about do love what I do, and that's the most important.
That's important, yeah.
But it's challenging because you automatically compare yourself. So why is it not,
Yeah.
It's just a natural human behavior.
And what about challenges as a female artist? As you said before, you were told a few times like you're booked because they needed a woman and this kind of stuff. Is there any other things that you want to say about this, maybe?
I don't personally face too many problems with me being a girl. Sometimes I do feel from certain people like they underestimate me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I am I'm not facing too many problems.
Okay.
To be real, and I'm happy that I don't.
I mean, of course, you know. And do you think our bookers are focusing on artists or tokens to sell? I mean, depends who, obviously, but
Yeah, I mean,
that kind of generalized, even if it's not the right thing to do.
mhm. In a way, yeah, but in another way, also, it's important to set some rules,
Mm-hmm.
to say like, okay, we want a 50-50%, like, we want to split the lineup fairly. We want to give more girls a chance. So it's important to set rules and to follow, even though the people who have to follow the rules may not align their values with it. But that's how we change things somehow, because if they would just have the freedom to do whatever they want, they wouldn't maybe consider booking more female DJs.
Yeah.
Or non-binary DJs or transgendered DJs. So I think it's important to set rules to guarantee inclusivity of all genders, and that's how we step by step can
grow it.
can grow it. And then at some point, when we've done that enough through rules, it's gonna become natural.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my hope.
It's gonna be the new normal kind of thing.
Exactly.
But I also feel somehow like we're going back, or we went back, and now we're in this transition of like normalizing it again, like, because parties and everything kind of started with Black gay communities and this kind of thing. And it's like that was the beginning of everything, and now it seems to be the opposite almost.
Yeah.
In many places, so it's quite crazy how we kind of forgot about that, and now we kind of have to bring it back. But yeah, it's part of the journey. Do you believe in reading the room or setting the room?
Both. Yeah, for me it's very important, because I mean, I love to do my thing. I love to play what I love the most.
Of course.
But as as a DJ, it's your job to please the people. You want to, I mean, not to please the people, but to offer the people a good time, because that's why they come to the club.
Exactly.
And also you have the responsibility towards the club that books you to keep the people as long as possible, because that's their business, and they book you as part of their business. So you can do your thing if you have you have to have enough music, and you have to have enough opportunities to play off of the room. But I think it's very important to read the room and to see what elements is pleasing the people, what do they like, what's less working.
Yeah.
And if you have a big collection of music that you love, you'll find ways to make it good for yourself as a DJ and for the crowd.
Exactly.
Because for me, it's always about the whole thing, I'm not satisfied if I only satisfy myself. I can do that at home.
That's it.
Or, in a studio. But the real satisfaction comes if I also satisfy the people who come to see me, and also the people who work at the club, who are happy with their decision to book me.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's also like that connection between the DJ and the crowd. If you're just doing their own thing, the crowd is going to be kind of like lost or in their own thing as well.
Yeah, and also you have to also take into consideration that a part of the crowd is maybe influenced by alcohol, other substances. You as a DJ, you have you have it in your hands to make their trip or break it.
Exactly.
And you don't want to break it.
It's a very sensitive line,
Yeah.
where breaking it or keeping it alive. If you could change one thing about the scene with a snap, what would it be?
I think I would ban egos.
I mean, egos and DJs it's two worlds that sometimes go together.
Yeah,
And it
just,
shouldn't.
not just in DJs, but also in people on the crowds. For me, partying and clubbing, it's all about being somehow connected with everyone and being in a safe place where you're loved, even though you're strangers. So it would be nice that everyone walking in the club walks through the detector and just leaves their ego and has a good time.
Yeah. That's a very cool concept.
And that would be cool.
Yeah.
Very unrealistic, but I love living
I mean,
fantasies.
we get in there, maybe. Do you feel like lineups are very repetitive lately?
In Switzerland, in general.
Maybe in Switzerland, yes. Maybe in other places, not. Or in other places, yes, and not in Switzerland. How do you feel about this?
I mean, some kind of repetition is good. So, for example, a lot of artists build relationships with venues, with clubs, where they come and play over and over again. This is something very important for me. I experienced that in the first 7 years of Elysia, for example, bringing up that club a lot. I was always looking forward, for example, because like Oscar Mulero was playing once a year, Villalobos was playing once a year, and I was always looking forward, knowing that they will come back.
Yeah.
So this kind of repetition, I think, is very, very nice for audiences, but also for both parties of, the business, for the artist and the clubs to maintain the relationship with each other. But other than that, I mean, I see a lot of repetition in certain genres that are very famous on TikTok, for example, or this whole, social media thing.
Yeah.
I see a lot of repetition in that. But I also, at the same time, see new collectives emerging from, just the frustration of this repetition, which I'm very happy to see.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes promoter just play safe, and if they booked an artist that worked very well, because of like in terms of selling and stuff, they will book it again soon or stuff like that, So sometimes I feel like some events are booking always the same things kind of very often, like almost every 2 weekends or something like that. So that's very repetitive, But if you say, like, for example, once a month, once every 2 months or something like that, that kind of creates this engagement and this connection with the club and the crowd,
But also, I want to mention one new party series in Square from Zurich.
Okay.
Is a friend of mine who's doing it. And it's a huge risk what he's doing, because he doesn't announce the lineup. He just announces the date and the venue.
Which one? Who is this?
In Square, it's called. And that, I have mad respect for that, because you don't know who's gonna play. You completely just rely on the community that you build, and that is something very rare.
Yeah, and risky.
Very risky, but it pays off. They have a good time.
Is it working? Like, people is going and everything?
Yeah. So I'm very happy to see that happening.
So let's talk a bit more of like the future of techno. Do you feel like club culture is dying, or perhaps changing or evolving?
I mean, it definitely changed a lot since the pandemic. People who are going out are just expecting something very different. And then artists try to meet their expectations. And yeah, some changes I find a bit weird, but it's just part of it, Things emerge, other things break down.
Yeah.
It's just a way of
Constant
life, I guess.
Because, for example, now we're seeing more of like parties in places that are not meant for party, like I don't know, like a bakery party
Okay.
or things like this.
Churches.
Yeah, churches, bakeries.
I mean, these kind of things are really nice. If people are, that's people are creative and they are creating new spaces where people go and dance. This is something I kind of like. I played myself in a church like 2 or 3 times, and it was a very interesting experience, I have to say.
Yeah, right.
It didn't like the sound was.
Nah.
A church is not made for techno,
Yeah.
fast and hard beats.
Yeah.
But the scenery was just so breathtaking, and it was a very interesting experience.
How would you like to club culture to look like in 2030? Which is actually not that far away, but
Yeah, it's like 5 years. That's crazy.
yeah.
Oh, I think I would love to see more focus on the community itself instead of how to sell, tickets. I mean, this is something very hard, I think, to build a community, because it's so many factors that have to align for it to create a nice community. And I would love to see just more focus on that, because for me, community was the most important thing, and for a long time, just the reason why I go out, why I go to certain places, because I was feeling part of a community. I still do, and where I really appreciate the communities, I still go there.
Of course.
But like, I don't feel that a lot of people are really focusing on that part of clubbing.
I mean, I don't know how tight all this industry is with money, because I see a lot of people doing good things and really for the community and not for the money. And then the biggest places and everything is like the ones orientated more to the mainstream and selling and stuff. So, yeah.
It's really hard. Like, I understand the struggle, because you have to survive and you have to make money in order to keep doing what you're doing. But sometimes things that you think will make money will make it harder for a community to build.
Exactly.
So it's just really important to compare what is more important now. Which step should we take?
Or at least keep a balance between both,
Yeah, I mean, that's the ideal, but
But I guess
it's hard.
it's really hard.
It's hard, and I appreciate everyone who's trying.
So, all right, so let's finish up this with red flag or green flag edition.
Okay.
DJ edition. First one is has 100,000 followers but doesn't produce.
I mean, you can also just be a DJ if that's your core like art form.
Yeah.
I don't expect any DJ to also produce, so
Fair.
it's a
Could be
yellow flag. I don't know.
Beige. No, it's
Beige.
flag.
Okay.
That's like the things you tolerate but you don't like.
I mean, it's not that I don't like, it's just that I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. That's a beige flag anyway.
Okay.
Only plays their own tracks. Red or green flag?
I mean, it's a good thing.
I think it's a green flag too.
Yeah, it's a green flag.
Calls their set a journey.
That's a green flag.
Absolutely. Won't play B2B with newer artists.
Won't. Yeah, that's a red flag.
I think so too. Uses the mic way too much over the set.
The mic?
I mean, I guess it depends on the style.
Yeah, it depends. Like,
the music and
there's people who can really bring it on the mic, and then it's really cool. But if the DJ is just using it for reminding people to put their hands up in the air, then it's a different story.
Yeah, absolutely. Does not repost promoters or events unless it's a big club or event. You know what I mean? So like they only show like the big things.
Mhm.
the small gigs that they have as well, which is like kind of not helping the small clubs and small events, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's true, but also sometimes, yeah, people forget.
Yeah, for sure.
But if it's intentional, then of course it's a red flag.
Cool. Refuses to learn CDJs because controllers are enough.
That's a red flag.
I would say so.
Yeah, because if you want to play in clubs, you'll have to play CDJ.
I mean, you're free to play with controllers, but and sometimes I've saw artists playing with controllers in like big festivals and stuff. I'm like, wow, what the fuck?
Okay.
But yeah. So I think with this we are pretty much done for today.
All right.
I'll give you now your spot for promotion and releases, gigs, anything you want to mention. Follow Jelena on social media, everything. So
A lot is coming.
yes. So now this is your spot to promote your stuff, your upcoming release, gigs, or whatever you want to promote.
So, I want to first of all remind everyone that I released an EP in November on Room Trax. So check that out. It's still accurate if you like bleepy sounds.
What can they expect from this last E EP?
Well, the idea of the EP was to just share my favorite kind of sound, which is this bleepy sound. And there's 4 tracks with this signature. Also, I have my best friend's vocal on one of the tracks.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that's very cool. And yeah, it's just it's a cool EP. Go check it out and make yourself, make your own opinions about it. Also, I want to promote my latest Her Mix that is up on YouTube. That was a very fun one, showcasing the recent tracks that I play around in clubs. I have a release coming out in May, I think. It's going to be part of a VA. So this is coming up.
Any
And
gigs, events, anything?
yeah, I will be back in Bern very soon.
Okay.
In my favorite place in Bern. Everybody knows.
Nobody
Listen so far. But yeah, support in transformation. They're doing a great job. Go there.
Exactly.
Bring your friends.
Yes. Have fun. Be respectful.
Exactly. Love yourself. Love each other.
Exactly.
So very excited to announce it a little bit later than
You will get
when this comes out.
proper infos if you follow Jelena
Exactly.
on social media and stuff. So yeah, thank you very much for coming. It was a pleasure to have you. You are such a nice person
Oh, thank you.
and such an amazing artist as well. I saw you playing at Elysia. I
Okay.
think on the summer closing of 2 years ago or last year.
Ah, yes. Okay. I was playing back to back with my sis Eileen. Shout out to Eileen from Berlin. She's a real G. She's also a really good DJ. So
Yeah,
check her out as well.
and for all of you, let us know in the comments what you think about everything we discussed. What are your opinions? And then we can open a conversation with all together and create some sort of community and work around together. Yes. So with no further ado, ciao.
Ciao.